Okay folks, welcome back. This is your old pal Hondo. We're doing a quick video on some cheap fishing rods here. Extreme budget fishing rods. We have 4 examples here in front of you. From my favorite rod to another favorite rod to the best extreme budget fishing rod. We have 4 examples up here. Now we have the first example, which is the Hot Cast series of rods, which are these two here, which I've used for over 2 years now. I do like them. There's some things about them I like and some things I don't like about the Hot Cast Zebco rods, and I'll tell you what and why. First rod is the 6'6" moderate heavy action bait caster from Hot Cast. It has that trigger like that. A plus about this rod is the reel seat. It has a really nice formed reel seat right here. It's well made. That's the only thing I like about this one in particular. It has ceramic eye guides, Evo foam handles on both of them. Ceramic and steel eye guides. Now the gripe I have with this one in particular, the casting rod, is that every time you put the two pieces together and you cast it constantly, I have to push it down in there. I'm getting to the point now where I feel like I want to glue the two pieces together and be done with it, because it's so bad. I got to put a piece of tape on the end of it every single time I take it fishing. It's a decent fiberglass rod. It's not the best I've ever used. That's why it's making number 3 of my least favorite extreme budget fishing rods. Now the second one, and they do make these in various sizes, like 6'6", 6 foot, 5'6" ultralight, and they make a 4'6" ultralight as well. But I would recommend, if I was going to recommend you to buy the Hot Cast rods, I recommend you to buy the 5'6" caster and the 6 foot spinning rod right here. This is a spinning rod right here. It has no trigger on it. This is the one I would recommend you to buy if you're going to buy the Zebco Hot Cast rods, is the spinning rod. This one I have zero issues with the rod flying out from the two pieces. Same setup. It's got an Evo handle, ceramic and steel eye guides, fiberglass. Far better rod is the spinning rod. The casting rod is horrible. I wouldn't recommend it. Now, my second favorite rod, which is my favorite, I've had this one for 10 years. It's the old, reliable, and venerable Shakespeare Durango. It has a similar handle. It's an Evo handle. It's a trigger. It has a trigger on it. It's for bait casting. They do make a spinning rod in the same version as well, which both are good. I used to have one about 20 years ago. I had a Shakespeare Durango spinning rod, and I used it in salt water and caught tons of fish with it. Big fish like speckled sea trout, black drum, redfish, you name it. Caught it, stingrays. It held up. Never could break one, actually. I've had this for 10 years. I've had yet to break it. I've caught bass with it, trout, catfish, panfish. Fantastic rod, tried and true. It makes number 2 on my favorites of extreme budget fishing rods. Now, the one thing I don't like about these Shakespeare rods, unlike where the Zebco's got it right is that molded over foot mount, which doesn't do as much damage to your reel foot as these do. And if you're using a carbon fiber reel, these screw mounts right here will eat the bejesus out of your feet on your reel. That's the only gripe I got about this rod. And sometimes, occasionally when you cast it, the rod does come loose, which is not a bad. It's nowhere as worse as the the Hot Cast bait caster does to me. So I'm planning on gluing this one together and making a single rod. And now my third favorite rod on this table, which I think is the best choice. If you're going to buy a budget rod, I recommend you to buy this is my opinion, buy the sturdy stick from Shakespeare. This is a medium action. Both of these two are medium. Just in between medium and light. This one here was medium moderate, but this is medium light, so this is a good all-around rod for multi-species. Now, the dislike I have about this rod is the reel seat, as usual, right here, as you can see. They also make this in a spinning rod as well, so you can use it with a spinning reel. The one thing I like about this reel, unlike the other two cheap versions, this has a metal two-piece set on that tip right there, and then you put it together with this metal piece here, and it stays together really well. I've had zero issue of this rod tip flying out on this two-piece rod. Unlike the other two, I've had zero issue with that. And it has steel eye guides. This is what they call a classic bait caster look. They also make one in a spinning reel. And this rod, let me tell you, it's very flimsy. The tip is very flimsy. It's well balanced for a cheap rod. I've caught tons of fish on this: catfish, channel cats, bass, trout. I've had this one for 3 years, and I think it's really well. And they still make this one, and you can still buy these at pretty much any Walmart's, Dick's, any sporting goods store. And if I was to recommend you two rods on this table, I would recommend you the Durango and the Shakespeare rod over the other two Zebco rods. These Zebco rods are okay. This one's actually better than the other one, but they're not as good as these two rods sitting right in front of you. I think the Durango and the Shakespeare rod are going to be your two best bets for a good long-term sturdy rod that's going to last you a long time. Is the Durango and the sturdy stick. Well, folks, I hope you like this video on a short video on some budget fishing rods, the good, the bad, the pros and the cons on the most cheapest fishing rods that money can buy. My recommendation, this is just my overall opinion, is I recommend these two right here, the Durango and the sturdy stick. Well, folks, I hope you like this video on four of the most cheapest rods on the market, extreme budget on the market. Y'all take it easy. This has been your old pal Hondo from Hillbilly Tactical. Peace out.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.